Hello, and welcome back to the Writer Wizard podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to be discussing the end of Phase 4. Mostly, I'm going to be talking about Wakanda Forever, and then we're going to be reviewing the last two episodes of Season 1 of Chucky. And finally, I'm going to be talking a bit about the new updates and the beginning of Season 8 for Sea of Thieves. So I hope you guys will sit back, relax, and join me as we get started. Alright, so Wakanda Forever has come out, and I am here today with Anime D Senpai, who, aside from anime, is also a big fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, I just want to go and start this by saying, you know, Phase 4 for me has been only okay. I think they kind of hit their peak with Endgame. So, what would you say to that?
Well, I haven't really seen much of Phase 4, but I would say Endgame is probably a peak, and I don't think they could beat that. That would be kind of a hard thing to overcome.
Because, see, my biggest problem is like, okay, so uh, with the release of Wakanda Forever, the next Black Panther movie, um, a lot of people were upset because there was something that came out where they basically said that white people weren't invited to go see the movie. I don't know if you heard anything about that.
No, I didn't, but it sounds BS.
And the funny thing is that so far, from the few reviews I've seen about it, a lot of people are saying that this one is actually better than the first one. Now, me personally, I didn't care for the first one.
I liked the first one. I thought it was pretty good.
Everybody was talking about, like, maybe it's because I was going through a divorce at the time, and I've said this many times on my channel that that could be the reason why I didn't care for Black Panther. It didn't seem like it was doing anything that the other movies weren't already doing.
Well, I mean, it was just basically kind of like pretty much an origin story, a proper origin story for Black Panther. Yeah, I mean, yes, we did see him before this movie. I can't remember which movie he appeared in before this.
I think it was Captain America Civil War.
Oh, Civil War, yeah. So yeah, this would be like a proper movie to get into Black Panther's uh character. So it's just like any origin story. So I thought it was fine.
But the thing is, the reason why I'm not ecstatic for Wakanda Forever is because, once again, it's going to be another origin story. Because the main actor who played Black Panther in the first movie passed away during the filming of this.
Well, I don't think it's from what I know, I don't know much. I just know some basic behind the scenes stuff, and I know like who takes on the mantle of Black Panther, and it's his sister, I believe. And so we've seen his sister before, uh, quite established in a previous movie. So I wouldn't really say this is an origin story. It's just a continuation.
Yeah. My point is basically that I hate the fact that they keep trying to push all these like season or season 4. Phase 4 has been very politic driven. I mean, if you look at like She-Hulk, if you look at Doctor Strange, the main character of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness was a gay woman, and it's like, what was the point of making her gay? What was the point of having to force that in, you know? And now it's just, I mean, we already know that this movie, Wakanda Forever, is not going to do well in China. I mean, you've seen what they've done with Star Wars. So, I mean, I don't know who Disney thinks they're pandering to.
Honestly, from what I know, they shouldn't even rely on China because I saw. I don't know if I should bring this up, but I saw a movie this year. It's probably my favorite movie of the year, and it might be one of my on my top list of all time for movies. Top Gun Maverick, and that made about $1 billion worldwide, and if I believe remember correctly, that did not get a Chinese release.
Yeah. And that's the thing, I wish people would just stop pushing these things. Stop pushing these agendas or these ideologies in every single movie nowadays. I'm not saying that about Top Gun because I haven't watched either one. I know that a lot of people love Top Gun in my family, and I never decided to get into it. It's not something. I mean, I was only a partial fan of Tom Cruise. I'd say the best Tom Cruise movie, in my personal opinion, is Few Good Men.
I'm gonna say just one thing about this whole thing. As far as these two movies go, I don't want to go on a rant about these or a tangent. But I just want to say, this Maverick, the second movie, is much better than the first movie, and these movies, especially this second movie, is are like basically a training movie. Uh,
Well, don't spoil it.
so it's like really, really good. And that's stuff you know from the trailer. I mean, that stuff is shown in the trailer, so I'm not telling you anything that people didn't know going in.
uh, I Some people may not watch the trailers though, so.
Well,
But anyways, one thing, I mean, the only thing that I've been actually super excited for, and this was made by a film theory on the Film Theory channel, where Matt Pat talked about the possibility, like, we're gonna discover that Thanos was an Eternal, and he was actually in the right by trying to wipe out half the life in the universe because it was gonna stop um, the Celestials,
oh yeah, yeah, that's right.
and that he was, driven mad by this disease that the Eternals all suffer. And that was when he brought that up. I'm like, wow, that is a really good idea. Hopefully, that's exactly what Disney's planning. I honestly couldn't tell you at this point now what Disney's really planning. So there is, I think it's Ant Man. Looks really promising though to actually guide it, like where we're gonna be going. Because supposedly, I think they're bringing in Owen Wilson's character from the Loki show, Morbius, not the vampire Mobius, but the Morbius time cop basically guy.
I haven't really seen anything from after Phase 3 except Black Widow and the Eternals,
Yeah,
which
but I mean, I don't know. It's definitely going to be interesting to see how they work in Deadpool and stuff. I did hear that they're bringing in definitely Hugh Jackman into the MCU also.
I think he should retire. He's getting old.
Well, he's going to be in the next Deadpool movie, so I'm guessing
Dang.
he's reviving his role as Wolverine. I'm gonna guess Deadpool 3 is gonna happen someplace between the last stand of X-Men, which I think was the third X-Men movie,
Oh, jeez.
and Logan, which to this day I still haven't watched that either. I heard
I
it's very depressing.
I haven't seen anything beyond the third X-Men movie,
Last stand.
which is kind of sad. I haven't seen anything beyond that.
I've seen the prequels, and I don't know. It kind of really messes with the timeline. It gets all freaking sorts of confusing, especially since they're trying to meld like the previous X-Men movies, which have almost a completely different cast. So it's all over the place. It's kind of a nightmare to try to figure out, I guess. But anyways, um, so yeah, I'm not really big on what they're doing with Phase 4. Hopefully, they'll start correcting things. I've been hearing rumors that, they're changing things up at Disney. Things are getting reworked. Um, but yeah, I mean, hopefully Phase 5 will be much better, and we'll see where we go from there. I'm pretty sure we're supposed to be getting a Guardians of the Galaxy 3 soon. And there's going to be supposedly a Christmas special coming out for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, I do remember that.
I'm still waiting to see what the heck happened to the third season of Mandalorian. We were supposed to get that around the same time as Book of Boba Fett, and it just feels like they converged some of the Mandalorian into the Book of Boba Fett rather than make a third season. So I'm curious where we're gonna go from there. But that's beyond this point. But let's just jump right into our next topic, Chucky.
My favorite killer doll.
It's actually kind of weird how you're finishing up season 1 right about the time that season 1 was actually finishing up when it ran. So we've
Oh,
been doing this pretty much right in line parallel to what it was a year ago.
oh. Well, that's a weird coincidence. I did not time that. I did not research that.
So, do you remember what's happened so far in the season? Why don't you give us a little recap on the first few episodes?
Oh, jeez. Well, I just did a recording for my intro for the One Piece movie that I saw in theaters, which I forgot so much, and I just saw it that day. So, try to remember something from like that I saw like a couple weeks ago. Well, I'll try my best. All right. First of all, okay, I remember there was this one kid. What's his name?
Jake.
Jake. Yeah, and he was staying with his dad, who I guess is an asshole and a drunk. And then, well, he gets killed, and so Jake is now an orphan because his mom died previously. Which did we ever learn why his mom or how his mom died?
I think she died from like an illness, like cancer or something.
Oh, that sucks.
Really doesn't matter. She died.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and then so uh, the Jake moves in with his uncle and aunt. Oh boy. Well, that makes me think of something else. That's a side thing. Anyways, then we get I remember had a bitch of a character that I guess is not so much a ruthless bitch as I thought she
Lexi.
was. Yeah, Lexi. She actually turns out to be quite all right. In by episode 4 or 5, and I was actually expecting her for like the first 3 episodes to just die. I wanted her to die, but that didn't happen. And I think by like the third or fourth episode, I started to have different opinion of her, and I was thinking, oh great, does this show actually make me gonna like her? And then we get a black kid named Dave. No, wait a minute. What was that black? What was that other kid's name?
Um, I'm spacing on his name right now.
Well, yeah, the other kid, and well, I guess and his mom died, who is like the chief or something.
Devin.
Oh, Devin. There we go, Devin. There we go. Yeah, Devin's mom ended up dying, falling downstairs, which I made a note of in the I think the last video. And that's about all I can really want to say.
Yeah.
And they're so yeah, they're like after Chucky, and Chucky's still doing his thing. Oh yeah, and we're seeing characters from the movies.
Grown up Andy, grown up Kyle.
Yeah,
So, do you still remember where we left off on the last movie?
or the last episode, you mean?
I mean, there were two deaths that really affected you, I think.
Oh.
Bree's death, right after you found out she had cancer.
Oh yeah, that. Oh God damn it! That's one thing. Uh, I forgot about that, and I would have traded her death for that mayor, Lexi's mom.
Yeah. But just remember, there was a point where you wanted Lexi to die, too.
Yes, that is true.
And then Devin lost his mom, too. So just all the moms are dying.
So Lexi's mom is next.
Maybe Chucky will change up his attitude.
Not likely.
We'll see. All right, so we're going to jump right on it, and we'll see you guys after we're done with these two episodes.
For thousands of years, the world has been protected by the Guardian of Light, or as he is more commonly known, Santa Claus. Over the centuries, factors such as fear and prejudice, greed and jealousy, misunderstandings, betrayal and war have segregated most humans from the magical world of elves, fairies, wizards, and the like. This has resulted in many misconceptions and generalizations of the true nature of Santa and his world.
This six-book series by Sean Connaughton begins as the current of a long series of Guardians is murdered by a group of monstrous enemies recently escaped from an enchanted South Pole prison. These creatures are loyal to the darkness, an evil force determined to exterminate the light in order to enslave all creatures of the world.
Shane Connor, an average young man, suddenly finds himself being trained as the new Guardian. As he adapts to his new life among fantastic creatures, he goes on an adventurous quest with a legendary wizard for the ultimate weapon to use against the darkness, and faces murderous enemies like Rasputin, Morgana Le Fay, Krampus, and many more.
Along with his best friend, Joe Gomez, Shane encounters politics, history, mysterious murders, new loves, his own hidden past, and racial dynamics among the fantasy races that turn out to be all too real. Their adventures reveal the true nature of the world and challenge the current state of how all races interact.
This series expertly melds myths, legends, history, faiths, folklore, and secret societies into a fascinating, cohesive, comprehensive world of wonder and magic.
From Atlantis to Olympus, from Hades to the moon, and from broomstick races to Christmas deadlines, join the new Santa Claus on his amazing journey. But beware! Will Shane's quest achieve his ultimate goal of destroying the darkness and preserving the light of the world? Or is he actually playing right into a plot by dark forces that will result in his, and our, ultimate doom?
So make your list and check it twice for the Guardian of Light book series. Download your audiobook or ebook today from Audible, Amazon, or iTunes.
All right, so we just finished watching the final two episodes of season one of Chucky, which, just to be 100% transparent, I watched these when they came out. This is Anime D Senpai's first time watching these. So, what did you think of season one?
Um, it was interesting. Had some unexpected twists and turns. Some unexpected people come back. Wasn't really happy about the ending with what happened with a character that I liked. I'll just say it right now.
Well,
What happened?
we can dive into that. I'm just talking about the general season
Okay,
overall.
well, general season it was pretty good. As I said, there's just a lot of unexpected things. There's people I wanted dead, and I didn't want them to die, uh, s- and there was one that I definitely wanted dead as the series progressed, but that didn't happen.
Well, moving into the individual final two episodes, like we normally do. So starting out with the first of the last two, we start off with Bree's funeral or wake kind of thing going on, and Junior blames Jake for everything. And who shows up during that?
Tiffany.
Well, as the world knows her, Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah.
So you asked during the episode, when did Chucky get to Jake? Or I mean Junior, sorry. And I think it happened probably shortly after the wake. My only confusion is Lexi and the others clearly stated what was going on with Chucky to Junior during the season. So I don't see why he bought into it.
I guess there was just a lot of stuff in his life, and he was corruptible, just like uh, Chucky was saying.
Yeah. Um I do have to say though that episode 7 probably gave us the greatest Chucky kill of all time.
Oh, where he was used to do it.
Yeah, where the killer actually used Chucky as a weapon.
And Chucky seemed to be having fun like it was a ride.
Yeah,
I just, I mean, I know Chucky's like a killer and he likes killing, but I mean, he himself is being used as a weapon, so that's gotta hurt. So that shouldn't be fun. Yet he's having the time of his life.
yeah. So Annie and Kyle try to return together. Um, but then Andy ends up leaving Kyle behind. Do you agree with what Andy did at that point, or?
Well, I mean, if he figured that he had to deal with uh, Chucky himself, and he figured it'd be best for Kyle to stay out of it, then maybe yeah. But I think considering there he was going up against more than one, it might have not been a good idea.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else. um, so is there anything else about episode 7 you want to say before we move on to the last one, or?
I'm trying to think. Um,
They did set up the Frankenstein movie showing thing. Did you notice that that's kind of a trend with Don Mancini, though?
mm, no.
During Bride of Chucky, which was significantly named after um, the
Oh yeah.
actual movie Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh
The
yeah.
movie that Tiffany was watching in Bride of Chucky was Bride of Frankenstein, which is the sequel to the original Frankenstein movie.
Oh yeah. I guess I never. I guess I never thought of that. So I just. I don't really have much to add right now about that. Maybe I will later.
Well, moving into episode 8, the last episode of the season. Um, so Chucky got what he wanted, and there were a ton of good guys now. What did you think of that?
I was just thinking, great, an army of Chuckies, just like Cult of Chucky.
Yeah, well, I guess from the way they were describing it, Chucky was limited to how much he could split his soul, and that's why he needed to have one of the children become a killer.
I didn't really piece that together right away.
I kind of had it figured out, like right when he was like trying to get Lexi to do it. I'm like, okay, clearly has to be some kind of voodoo thing where he has to corrupt some innocent soul into becoming a killer, so that way it'll grant him some kind of power. I do want to say though that this is entire thing, and including where we go from here, is very much similar, not exactly the same as I've said before on this channel when I've theorized where this series could go. But yeah, it's basically falling in line with a lot of what I said in the past.
And I guess I wouldn't. I guess I don't really remember any of those conversations if we had those conversations.
Oh, I had this whole past theory with, and I think I mentioned a little last time we talked, that there could have been an entire factory full of Chucky dolls or good guy dolls, and Chucky brings them all to life, and like you have this whole team of good guys, like actual good people, going against all the good guy dolls, and ultimately they have to kill Nika at the end to get rid of the last Chucky. And that is kinda almost where we're heading, but not exactly, I think. I think you'll understand more when we get through season 2, which is almost done at this point. I think we got like 1 or 2 episodes left in the season to air, so.
Huh.
But yeah, basically, so any favorite parts of episode 8?
Um, Let me think for a second here. Aside from the ending, nothing really sticks out. Um,
Well, I mean, basically we have Chucky kind of revealing a little bit of his plan, talking to the other Chuckies, telling them not to kill babies.
oh yeah, I did kind of like that one part. Where they were asking
What about
questions like,
twins?
"Oh, really go define babies." It's like not how about anything younger than 5 or 6? How about twins? Those guys are vicious. You can never trust twins. It's unfair when it's two against one.
Um, yeah, that was pretty good. Um, I do want to say that I think the mass murder scene at the movie theater was a little way overdone. I'm sorry, a lot of those people, like, I'm not an expert doctor or anything, but I feel like getting stabbed up through the ass might hurt a lot, but I don't think it's going to be immediately fatal to you.
No, yeah, that will hurt like hell, I would imagine. But I don't think you're gonna die right away. That's not like a fatal spot unless he severs an artery. But even then, that's not gonna be like
I think there is a
it's
major artery in your inner thigh in the leg, but I mean, he would have to have precision aim through a seat to the inner thigh to get that part, and you're not. I don't think you're gonna bleed out your mouth.
well, I mean, I understand like how the bleed on the mouth kind of works. I mean, it's like a
Well, usually bleeding through your mouth is an indication, if I remember some of my biology correctly from asking people in the past. I believe the whole bleeding from your mouth thing happens when blood gets into your lungs. And your lungs are very far away from your ass.
uh, yeah, that's true.
So,
I just the whole time I was like thinking like that seeing people dying from just being stabbed essentially through the ass, like I was just thinking that's kind of stupid. That is like the dumbest killing thing I've ever seen in the whole mo- series or movies, whatever.
and plus, like, if you really pay attention to the scene, is the one most thing that's, like, so frustrating. I mean, it was fine on the first viewing, but I noticed it a little bit more on a rewatch, especially since it's like my fourth or fifth time rewatching the season. And what's so unbelievable too is he keeps crawling around the floor and stabbing when you actually see everyone starting to freak out and get up, and he's still crawling around stabbing, and it's like, how is there anybody not standing at this point? Okay, Caroline, she's just a little fucked up kid who
Very.
didn't pay any attention to what was going on around her and was completely focused on watching the movie. But everybody else was jumping out of their seats after like the second scream.
Yeah, that and I found the whole thing with Caroline to be a bit ridiculous. I mean, it seemed like she was like not even a human being. I mean, she was like more of a doll than Chucky is, and Chucky's a freaking is a person possessing a doll.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a weird kid.
I don't know. I guess she's supposed to have some sort of disability, like autism or
You have to
ADHD.
be one serious disability for her to be like that, because I never heard of a case where someone would be that oblivious to their surroundings.
Yeah,
Most kids would probably get scared and panic if they saw if all that stuff was going on. But
yeah.
she was just unfazed.
And she acted like that throughout most of the entire season too.
Yeah, I know. Uh, she was kind of endearing, but at first, but towards the end, I was just like thinking, what's up with this kid?
Well, I'll spoil this much for you. She's not in season 2 very much, so
Oh, that's thankfully.
neither is the mother. So you don't have to put up with her for long.
Damn, I want to see her die.
Maybe we'll get that in season 3, I don't know, but so let's see what else. So the final scenes, Andy got away with the dolls, but then he got put at gunpoint by doll version of Tiffany. What'd you think of that?
Well, I mean, in my mind, I was thinking, oh, great. Doll Tiffany doing gunpoint against Andy. Here we go. I mean, how could this get any worse? I mean, it's kind of amazing, that Andy survived that explosion because he was in the house when it exploded, right?
Supposedly. I mean, we saw him leave the frame, and then then it cut to Devin, who was going for the window.
Yeah,
So,
that whole thing was just
but
whatever.
there's a kind of a rule in horror, and this is the rule I've been trying to stay. Kind of goes beyond horror and into any franchise. If you don't see the character's dead body on screen, don't count them out.
Yeah, I'm starting to really learn that from some things that I've seen. This that basically applies to anime, movies.
I
Uh,
mean, it's like we talked about with Star Wars.
yeah, I'm trying to avoid that specifically.
But, I mean, that's basically a rule of thumb. If you don't see the character die in front of your eyes on screen, there's always the chance they can come back.
Even when even when you see them die in front of your eyes on screen, they can still come back.
Yeah, just ask Goku.
Or Chucky,
How many times has Goku come back? I wonder who's been brought back more, Goku or Chucky?
Chucky, easily because Chucky dies like in every single movie and every well now probably every season.
Well, I mean, in Chucky's case here, though, we got multiple Chuckies dying.
Yeah, I mean, in season one of Chucky, there was probably like let's see, one, two, about two or three Chuckies that come to my mind right off the bat that died.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute, three or four. Let's see, there was one from Tiffany, then there was one in the theater with Junior, then there was one in the theater with Jake.
Well, there's a lot.
So that's three right there.
I'd say 5 or 6 maybe in this season.
Ah, jeez.
Because you forgot the one at the beginning, the one that Andy and Kyle killed,
Oh yeah, I did forget about that one.
the one at the house that Jake bought at the bus stop that Kyle shot in the head.
Yeah, I did forget about that one too.
So, yeah, there was quite a few Chucky dolls that died. Although, the one from the beginning, that doll kind of died, but it transferred into a new unused doll. So, and then I think they had to kill that one. Or was that the one that went to Jake? I don't remember. It's a big game of foot flopping around. There was actually some things though in this season that you missed. Like there was a kid who had the same similar outfit as Chucky back at the hospital with a little ball.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of things I missed, so like phrases, maybe stuff being dressed up like characters. I'm sure there's a lot of things I missed, but maybe if on like a second viewing of the entire franchise, maybe I'll catch those things.
People were really theorizing that like the teacher was maybe an older version of Glenn or Glenda. But no, they didn't do anything with that. In fact, you never see her again after this season, or at least we haven't yet. So
I kind of like the teacher. She's
yeah,
uh,
I got a real soft spot for redheads.
but it seems like since you brought her up, it seems like she was released at the end, which is a good thing.
Well, I'm sure Jake got all the blame for all the murders. I don't think Lexi and Devin and Jake, countered it too much, even though it kind of ruins Jake's name. I think it kind of was like, well, Miss Fairchild's innocent, and there's no way they're going to believe Chucky did it. So we'll just let Jake's name take the fall, but we'll all know the truth.
And yet Jake was at the cemetery with at the graves uh for his uncle and aunt and cousin.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because, because they know the truth. And Junior wasn't bad until Chucky made him that way, so. But I'm glad you enjoyed the first season. Hopefully, you're looking forward to season two.
Yeah, and there one thing I just want to say real quick is there's now a couple things that I've learned about Chucky now with this season. The first was he hates when people plays with the postal service, uh, and the then the mail doesn't get to where it needs to be. Another thing is he likes to break the fourth wall and announce his killings.
Well, most people astute that to the fact that Chucky was just copying like channels like Dead Meat who count kills, which is very popular right now on YouTube and stuff. So that's why he was kind of beating them to the punch. But Don Mancini's actually said he's always wanted to do something like that.
Although I definitely appreciate that, and I guess there was like 15 people that died at the theater, something like that.
Something like that. But Chucky doesn't know how to count, and that count was very off. Dead Meat actually did their own kill count,
Hmm.
an accurate kill count. So
So,
Chucky likes to fudge his numbers.
so Chucky's giving himself false credit.
Yep. And plus, Dead Meat, they actually count Chucky's body count too, so as a kill. So, but I guess before we go, I have one last topic to talk about. Our major cliffhanger, though, for this season. Probably the one high topic that everybody discussed at length. And honestly, I've been waiting to talk about this with you for a while now. Now that you've actually seen it, what did you think of Nika's end?
It's fucked up. It's really fucked up. She, you know, I mean, unless if she gets managed to get prosthetics, uh, I don't want her to live like that. That would be like a bad way to live, especially for someone who's just at her age. Um, uh, I mean, at this point, I don't want her to die, but I mean, at this point, she might as well die.
Yeah, she's basically almost like a living doll herself now. Something Tiffany has to constantly take care of like a pet.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one thing. I really liked Nika from movies that she was in, and and heck, that first movie. What was the first movie that she was in?
Curse.
Yeah, Curse of Chucky. She was really good in that one. She, even though she was paralyzed from the waist down, she was able to deal with uh what was going on herself.
Yep.
And so I actually liked Nika, and it just sucks what happened. I'm genuinely pissed off about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's real sad. I mean, I was like, okay, why the heck did you do that? Now that's just eliminated. I mean, I get it. I understand why Tiffany did it. Without arms or legs, if Chucky comes forward, he can't do anything now. He has no way to get at Tiffany. But on the other hand, though, it's like, okay, well, now you've just made the character of Nika freaking useless.
Yeah, it's just it's like the tragedy is like if there was like anything worse than death, I would say that's probably the one thing that's worse than death.
Yeah. So, this is going to finish off our review and reaction to season 1 of Chucky. Hopefully, you guys will join us as we hopefully soon move into season 2. And I just want to make this clear. This is also a reactionary video due to the fact we are literally recording these reviews right after he has watched this for the first time. So I just wanted to make that clear in case people are like, well, why do you keep saying it's a reaction? Well, that's why. Because you're hearing his first thoughts as soon as we're done watching it. So
Yeah, I actually wanted to start off with the whole thing with Nika because it was fresh in my mind. I wanted to say how
I wanted to
messed up
let it
that was.
stew till the end. That way we could go out on that note. Because I figured that's going to be the biggest talking point. That's what a lot of people were upset with Dawn for doing at the end of season 1. Because now it's like, yeah, Eve said even with prosthetics, she's not really going to be much of a character. And I have to say that, yeah, aside from being exposition dumped later on in the season 2, and she's not really useful as a character anymore.
God damn, it's just a shame.
But you'll see more. You will see more of her. I promise she'll be back. She's not done yet. There's just not much to who she is anymore. But anyways, let's move on to our final topic now. And our final topic is going to be Sea of Thieves, which is currently getting ready to finish off season 7. And as you all may know, for those who do play Sea of Thieves, who have been waiting for this section of the podcast, hopefully everybody's got their season pass stuff done. And then I'm looking forward to season 8. This has been my first experience with Sea of Thieves. I've been playing for about 3 months now. And I've had a lot of ups and downs with it. The thing is, though, we're finishing off with this Flameheart versus Pendragon storyline. And I know that the creators of Rare said that, players have a choice on who gets saved or who's going to come back or be the, character that. But I honestly have to say, I feel like that's a load because they've also said, they have the next storylines planned out. And it's like, well, how could you do that if you didn't already know who you wanted to come back? I think, like everybody else thinks, that, you know, we're getting Flameheart back. I think Pendragon's going to be locked away or something in the Ghost Realm. And Flameheart's going to come back and be a big bad villain that's going to terrorize the oceans. And it's going to bring about some change to how things work. So, I mean, I'm interested to see it. I tried my best to push for Pendragon's side. I did do the Flameheart side for one. I gave them one doll and turned in one just to get the sales. But mostly I've been working on Pendragon's side. I've probably given, because I don't have a lot of time to play and do the event, but I've probably turned in like 15 dolls to the Pendragon side. A couple were enchanted. I do want to say that it was really unfair. One night I had been working on two fortresses. I had raised the Pendragon or Bell's flag for Pendragon side, and I had two fortresses. I had a bunch of dolls. I was gonna go turn them in, and right as I started sailing there, I got switched over to a server where none of the fortresses were active. So I had to try to go back, and as soon as I went back to the fortress I just left, it was already occupied by ghosts again. So I had to fight them all over and raise the flag again. And by that time I was like, oh well, I gotta get off because I gotta get some sleep. And so I ended up turning in the dolls, but I only got one of the fortresses activated for Pendragon side, and none of the others were. And it was just a complete waste of my time. It's like, I did all that to try to help Pendragon side get two of the fortresses up to get extra points, and it was for nothing. I mean, yeah, I got plenty of dolls to turn in that time. I think I turned in like 8 or 9, but it was still kind of a big waste. So, moving into season 8 of this game, one of the things that I really hope Rare is considering on doing, I really hope there's going to be a little bit more for ship upgrades. Like, I'm sure there's a lot more stuff that can be added on to all the ships. For example, I'd like to see like custom harpoons, you know, that can match. I'd like to see more color matching. Like, I'd like to see them make it where you can colorize your ship. Yeah, you can have a theme like, the ones we currently have, or you can mix and match your own. Maybe those cost more, but maybe have a way to have it where you could actually make it your own colors or recolor, some of the sails you have. Because, yes, while it's nice, I like to fit mine with themes, and they don't always cover all of what I'm looking for in what we have. Also, I'd like to see some of these things as harpoons, so we could put our own harpoons on our ships, not just be stuck with the default one. Or change the freaking canopy on a sloop, or the mast. Like, I have a ship that's mostly purple, and the mast color, I believe, is still the original color. And it's like, I wish I could change that. Or maybe change the crow's nest. That would be a nice little upgrade, so you could have different kinds of looking crow's nest, and it's not all just the same. I'd also like to see a mass of effort put into the actual pirate flags you can fly on your ship, because we only have I'd say 15 to 20 different options, at least that I've seen so far. And so I'd like to see them put some effort into turning that into 50 to 75 different types of Jolly Roger flags we could fly. So, just a few thoughts I had moving into Season 8, which apparently is going to be more PvP related. So, I'm kind of dreading that because I can't necessarily say I hate the PvP aspect, but it's definitely not one of my favorites. It's definitely not in the top section of what I look forward to when I go to play Sea of Thieves. I like to just sail around and fight the NPCs, or to play the Tall Tales, which I really wish there was more Tall Tales. Because doing these Tall Tales and having to do them 5 freaking times and collect all the journals, it gets a little tiresome. And it's like, okay, some of these I'm not even going to bother with because I just want to move on. And sometimes the rewards are great, sometimes the rewards suck. So I guess it's just a matter of opinion. But I would definitely like to see them put more into the tall tales and stuff. I haven't gone through all of them, but there's some past events that I really wish there was a way for you to replay those events. Like the hunting of the megalodons and stuff. I saw a video where these like different crews were all like you had to work with 5 to 6 different crews to hunt down the megalodons, collect their souls, summon like the big ultimate megalodon, and then kill it to achieve a goal. And it's like, wow, I can never do that because we've already passed that. Unless it's a tall tale and I just don't know it, I'll never be able to do that. But you know what? In this game, that's really pointless anyway because it's so pointless to find other people that you can legitimately have a conversation with. You can't trust people that you play with on this game. And what I mean by that is simply that, you know, my daughter and I, we play together, so I can trust her. And if I ever got anyone else into the game, I could probably trust that person being a part of my crew. But people you make alliances with, people that are already playing the game that are you just meet, you can't trust them because they could easily backstab you and sink you and kill you and take all your loot. And yes, I know it's a pirate game, but on some level too, it's like what is the point of having these missions or these adventures or tall tales where you need another group of people to help you achieve the ultimate end and you can't do it because you can't trust people. And it's just like, I was finishing up a game night where I was about ready to get off and I was talking to this guy who I ran into. And at first, he didn't trust me because I was trying to tuck on his ship with no malintent. I just wanted to see what he was doing. And I didn't know he saw me until I realized he did. And I just started talking to him, and he's like, yeah, he actively avoids the whole PvP aspect. He runs away from ships, and he doesn't get a lot of time to play. And we were talking about this, and he brought up a very good point, that these streamers who actively do seek out PvP, who actively do say, oh, well, what does it matter? It's a pirate game. That's the whole point of it being a pirate game. Yeah, well, it's easy when you have 8 to 10 hours to play solid. But for those of us who only get an hour or two to play every day, or less than that time, maybe we don't get an hour or two. Maybe on our days off we get 4 hours. But we have to give up several days throughout the rest of the week. So yeah, when we collect up treasure, that any of that treasure is a lot more valuable to us than it is to the people who are just out there to cause trouble, sink us. I've seen people who will come along, shoot. I've seen people who will come along and shoot your ship all just for the fun of it. They're not there to take your treasure. They'll look at your treasure and say, oh, there's nothing there, and they'll just let it sink. But to us, to the people who have such limited time, yeah, it's very valuable to us. But I am learning. I'm slowly getting better at PvP. And I really don't know what all is in store for Season 8. But I guess we'll find out soon. It starts in, what, like a week or two, I think, left now. So hopefully Rare will do more with the Tall Tales 2. Hopefully they will do more with the ship customizations so we can do much more than what we currently have. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to whatever else they can add. Like I said, custom harpoons. That would be amazing. Maybe you got a ship that's red and gold. How cool would it be to have red and gold harpoons? Or more customization for the, top the deck of the ship, not just putting stuff underneath. Maybe for actually having something on the mast, like, you could hang skulls or lanterns, or and that's another thing. Custom lanterns would be nice. Different looks, you know. That would be amazing. I'm also really hoping that we're going to get some kind of Christmas customization because I really would love that. I have a really good idea for a ship name if we get some good Christmas customizations, and I might actually purchase them even if I got to use real money. So, alright, so that's going to wrap up this episode of the Writer Wizard podcast. I really hope you all enjoy this, and I will see you all next time. Bye.